Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to TorchTales, Stories Behind the Hood. I'm your host, Frank Vargas, aka Traveling Frankie, and here I am with someone not quite near me, but in fact, a few states away. And her name is Talia Castillo. Did I say that right?
Yes,
Okay, Talia, un placer, mucho gusto. Gracias por estar aquí.
claro, gracias por tenerme.
I had to say that in Spanish. We still have to represent, where we come from, right? So definitely, I've been watching your growth and on Instagram. We all become fans of other people. Just not even, that's the great thing about social media nowadays. So I think if I'm, and let me see if I get this right. So you're a pipe welder. You travel and you do all kinds of work out there. You have a dog that travels with you whenever you can. You ride bikes as well, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
You you are into animals. You wanted to be um, a vet, right?
veterinarian. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
correct. I find that amazing that someone not only I'm not even going to say that because you're a woman, but because you're younger and you're doing this traveling and doing all these things and trying to mix pleasure with business and all that and have fun at the same time, which is so critical. And it needs to be done that way. Um, but so tell me a little bit exactly what your background is. Where do you come from? Where's your family from?
So I grew up in Glenwood Springs, Colorado.
Okay.
So that's where I spent most of my life. Um, and I moved out really young. I moved out really young and started working. I've done a little bit of everything. I worked in restaurants. I worked in stores. I worked at like dealerships. I did a lot. I worked at ranches,
Gee,
but
it sounds like you're 58. By the time you um,
you know, you wouldn't be the first one to tell me that.
I know it's like how many more things have you done in such an early age? Like, geez, that's a huge list.
But no, it's been great. I've only been in the welding industry for about 2 years, and
Okay.
I started off in Wyoming. That's where I
Huh.
kind of started to get into welding. So I started off in Wyoming, and I started in a shop, just
Okay.
doing wire, MIG welding, and a little bit of stick. And I started kind of building tanks. So that's where it all started. That company had some rig welders, and they'd see me kind of welding in the shop, and they're like, "Hey, Talia, like, come watch, come learn, whatever." And they're the ones that kind of started teaching me. So I've been really lucky and fortunate to have met great people along the way that have taught me everything I know now. So
That is awesome. When you're first starting doing anything in life and you have, aspirations and goals, we're all little kid and throwing rocks and running around and doing whatever the hell we're doing. What was one thing that you aside from being a vet, the little girl, Talia, who's that girl? What was that little girl into?
I was really into animals. I've always been into animals. I was always the one getting dirty, playing in
Okay.
the mud and stuff. And so I am the only daughter in
I was
my
gonna ask you
family.
if you're the only one.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
I have two brothers. And I think it's funny because my mom one day told me, she was like, Talia, when they told me I was going to have a daughter, I was so excited for her in dresses and bows and pink and glitter.
And
And
here
I
she
was,
is.
yeah, I was a complete opposite. I wanted nothing pink, nothing glitter. I wanted my cowgirl boots and my hat.
Even that, you had that lifestyle and that life, that you already kind of were set on how you wanted to look and all that, right? You were not into the pink, the most, the princess and the dresses and all that,
Yeah.
all that. Um, but even throughout that period, did you consider yourself being feminine? Like, like you found, or you were a tomboy? Like, no.
No, I think I'm very girly.
Okay.
I've been
Okay.
told a lot that when I meet people and they get to know me and then they find out I'm a welder, they're like, I would have never guessed because I am very feminine, very girly. And I think it's something that I want to put it out there. I feel like a
Okay.
lot of the women in the trades, they feel like they have to lose that feminine side. They have to lose that girly side in order to be accepted in these trades. And
Yep.
let me tell you, so far in the industry, guys are like, it's good that you have kept your feminine side. And
That is awesome.
Mason at work, they're like, Talia,
Yeah.
you're so soft and you're so sweet and you're so nice. Like, and I'm like, I'm okay with that. I tengo
That's
mi
awesome.
corazón de pollo, tengo mi corazoncito de pollo. I cry, I everything. But I don't want to be, it's good. And I might have a rough day here and there and I cry,
Of
but
course. And that's so great for you to mention that, because yeah, I think part of it's everyone starts and but then after a few years they're like, you know what, I'm always 30, I'm always whatever, like I don't even feel like, doing my hair. I'm thinking as a woman, even though I'm not. I'm just kind of, thinking what they would be thinking. It's like, you know what, I just don't have the time to go on the weekends and really do the whole thing and dress up, and like, nah, I'm just gonna stay the same way I work 9 to 5, which is I look like crap. And I think that has to do a little bit of that, just kind of just too much. It's just extra work, where
oh
we
yeah.
guys, we just put a new shirt and blah blah blah, and we're let's go. There's
Yeah.
less, yeah. So that's good. Good for you. I'm glad that you have chosen to really showcase that. Hey, I'm still a beautiful woman, and definitely just because I do this male-oriented business industry doesn't have to be that I gotta look like every other guy out there.
Yeah.
When did you realize that you were not gonna be a vet? Like, what happened? You were into animals, and you go, yeah, but not really.
So I didn't know welding was a thing. Growing up, I saw my dad weld things here and there, but I always thought welding was just a part of another job, like construction
Okay.
or whatever. I didn't know that welding was its own career and that's all you had to do. And so I actually didn't know rig welders or anything of that until 2 years ago when I just started.
Really?
But
So why were you seeing your dad welding? Like, what was he into? Like, was he a welder, or he just was
no,
fixing things as they broke? Yeah.
no one in my family is a welder, like my
Okay.
brothers, nothing. Glenwood Springs was pretty small, and I don't remember ever seeing a rig welder or a rig
Really?
truck or a welding machine or any of that. My dad did construction, and
Okay.
he
All
always
right.
did a bunch of like little side jobs. So that's when he'd like
Gotcha.
tack stuff together or
All
do
right.
little stuff.
Yeah. Just
But
just like, typical Hispano. We'll do
yeah,
whatever it takes. Yep. Yep.
poquito de todo.
Dale, así mismo, totalmente. That's awesome. And so, seeing your dad doing that and still had not strike, how did you started working at this shop? And you came in as what? As help doing what?
So I went to college. I went to college for
Okay.
2 years, and it just got too
Okay.
expensive. It got way
Yep.
too. It was while COVID was going on, and everything
Oh,
was a mess. And so it came to. I was doing everything online, and I was like, I can't do this anymore. I just got tired of it. I'm too much of a social butterfly. I can't
I
just
was
sit
gonna
in front
say,
of a computer
really,
all
you're
day.
you're a millennial. Like, that should have been your thing. Like, oh, great, everything through a phone. Yeah.
No, I absolutely hated it. And so I ended up dropping out, and I moved back to Glenwood Springs, and I got a job at a like a bus barn, a bus shop,
Okay.
and I got my CDL through them.
Damn.
And yeah, and so the drivers would kind of wreck the buses. They'd get in accidents, and so we'd get the buses back, and the metal panels would be completely destroyed. And so I'd watch the guys kind of weld, and I'd be like, "Oh, let me watch," And one of the guys was like, "Hey, you should be a welder. Like they make good money, and they get to travel." And I was like, "Really? They get
Yep.
to travel and make good money?"
Uh
And
oh,
so
you
he
got
had
my
me there.
attention.
He had me there. Yeah.
But when you were working, when you got your CDL, were you actually driving? You got to drive. You needed the CDL driver. Just so you can hit the road.
Yeah.
So what kind
So
of trucks were you
I
driving that you needed to the school buses or something?
no, they were like city buses.
Oh, okay, got it. Makes
Yeah.
sense. All right,
And so
okay,
I worked
and
in the shop. I worked in the shop, and we all needed our CDL in order to like move buses in and out of the bays and
oh,
kind of take them from one shop to another and stuff like that.
gotcha. And when you did the 2 years in college, what were you thinking of doing there? Like, what was the at that time? 1 year in, you're still excited. Hey, I'm doing this thing. I'm going to become a what?
A veterinarian.
Oh, so okay, so gotcha. So you actually did 2 years. Were you taking the basics, or you still had already gone into the specific field?
So I had already taken some of my basics during high school. So
All right.
I was already taking like large animal anatomy because I wanted to be a veterinarian for like horses and cattle.
Yeah, that's
So I
why
was
on your
already taking
Instagram
some of
you have
those.
quite a few things, with horses and yeah, I can see the whole circle coming together. Yeah. Now, did you had a good stomach to kind of see things opened and animals that you needed to just work on them if it came to that? You can handle that side?
I've actually, now that I'm making good money, I've actually thought about going back and
Oh,
finishing.
really?
So,
Really? So
yeah.
it's still in you.
Well, now, now that I can afford it, maybe. I don't know with the economy and everything going up, but now that I can probably afford putting myself through school, I've actually thought about maybe once I settle down and I'm done moving around about maybe going back and finishing.
Well, I tell you what, I've never met a welder that wants to weld for the rest of their lives, right? Because physically, there's a come a point that you just can't do it anymore. It is what it is. So you have to play your cards right y buscar something for the long
Otra
run as you
manera.
get older. Exacto, totalmente. So once these guys said, hey, there's this thing called, a rig, and you can make money, you can hit the road and travel. What happened next after that comment? What started happening that it led you to where you are now?
I wanted my own rig. I wanted my own rig, and I was gonna do everything I
Okay.
could until I had it. And so I had that shop. I worked in that shop doing tanks for about 6 months
Okay.
and saved up some money. And then I got a job offer prefabbing pipe, welding pipe in another shop. And so I
Okay.
took it. And from there, I started working on drilling rigs throughout
Huh.
Montana and Wyoming.
Damn, this girl. Okay.
And then the company, I was doing single hand work. So they gave me my own truck and I was running my own truck. So that was the closest to rig welder that I could possibly get, without having my own machine and my own
I
truck.
know. I know.
And
Somebody
so I
else's
was
money. Yeah, for
there.
sure.
Yeah, yeah. Something breaks, okay, go fix it.
Yep. Okay,
And
so
so
you're
I
you're
was
out
there
there
for
now on
about a
this
year
truck.
and a
Uh-huh.
half. Yeah, and now I have my own truck and my own machine, and I'm still trying to finish my welding bed, but
Yeah, so is it a white pickup truck? I think I saw it on your Instagram. Is it the one? And
yeah.
okay, cool. It's looking sweet. Now, how are you even getting jobs? Like, because do you work for yourself? Like, do you work for someone right now? Or you're on your own.
So right now I am working for a company. So I'm like
Okay,
contracted through this company to
gotcha. And this company, you get to travel for them?
so they are pretty big and they have a bunch of different work in a bunch of different states. So I was in Texas for this company in
Okay,
West Texas, and then they sent me to Colorado for another job, and now I'm up in Oregon for the same company.
gotcha. Now, are you do you travel with an RV? Did I see a hookup on your rig?
Yeah, my fifth
Oh,
wheel.
yeah, that's amazing. And how do so where are you? I know you say where you are now, but so eventually you want to be settled like where? What would be close back to home, or like what now that you've seen places, what calls your attention?
I I haven't decided. I think that would kind of have to be a conversation with the guy I meet if I ever meet him.
Oh, what do you mean if you ever meet him? Of course, it's gonna well, when you are in the middle of nowhere, welding a pipe, it
Yeah.
might be a little hard, but eventually that'll happen.
Yeah, I don't
Um,
know yet. I think as long as I can have, a little house and some land and some animals, I'll be good anywhere.
Alrighty. Have you ever come down to Florida?
I haven't.
You haven't. Huh. All right.
No.
Cool. Well, we gotta get you some gigs out in
Yeah.
Florida, so you can come get check the weather, which is summer all year long, but whatever. Yeah, we have one station, summer. Now, how many out of all the places that you've been to right now? What's one of those locations once you got there that you go like, wow, this is amazing. It doesn't mean that you want to live there, but it just hit emotions.
um, I don't think I've been to that place yet.
Oh shit,
Yeah,
Talia. Wow.
me falta. I mean, all the places are great, but
No,
one of
don't
my
fix it
goals,
now. No, don't no lo arregles ahora. Eh,
I think, now that I'm in Oregon, I definitely want to spend because we work so many hours, 6 days a week, 10-hour days, and like Sundays when you have days off, like I think all every rig welder knows that your one day off is your one. It's not your day off. You're doing laundry, you're getting groceries, you're fixing your truck, like you have 100 other things you need to do to reset, and in order to, you have to maintenance your machine, maintenance your truck, just so you can keep working. So I think my goal here while I'm in Oregon is to definitely just kind of maybe take one day, a Saturday off here and there, and get to explore a little bit more and do a little bit more because time flies, and I am not getting any younger.
Oh, please. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. If you're saying that, geez, I'm not even going to go there. But you're so right. You definitely have to have that balance and find something that is yours and yours only, that is completely aside from what you do for a living. I've
Yeah,
traveled, I've been lucky enough, I've been in the industry for 15 years, but I've been traveling for about maybe 25 or so. And that's the one thing that I learned, and I actually learned this maybe 6 years ago out of everything. It's I take time to go explore. For me, I love taking pictures. I'm a foodie. I love new experiences. So me, I get in a day before, stay a day after, and try to do as much as I can, so no one can contármelo después. Like, yep, ya lo vi on my own.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
S- So so what do you do since you're saving all this money? What are you doing with your money? You're making decent
Um,
money now. What are you doing with that money?
I right now just still trying to finish my welding bed and buying tools I need. But I'm definitely trying to save most of it, a
Yeah.
lot of it.
And
Yeah.
so once you fix the whole everything, the whole rig, and it's where you think it needs to be, what are you thinking after it's all ready to go?
I'd like to go back to Texas and do some more pipeline.
Oh yeah. Where exactly is your background from? Your family?
My dad is from Chihuahua and my mom
Okay.
is from El DF.
Oh, okay. I love the city. I've been lucky enough that in fact I'm going to FabTech Mexico in
No
May.
way.
Yeah, it's in Monterrey. It's my second time in Monterrey. I've done Mexico City before and a bunch of other around places. I love it's I'm in love with
That's
Monterrey because
exciting.
the restaurants are just amazing. Yeah, and Mexico City too. It's like it's another level.
Food.
But
Yeah.
I'm a foodie. I happen to be in the welding industry, but I travel for food. That's really pretty much it. Yeah, tacos, tacos de tripa. Oof, that's for me. That's like sign me up. I'm there. Um, so what kind of dog do you have? Because I know it's the dog with you at all times.
Yeah. Yeah. He
Yeah,
comes to work with me every day.
really.
He is
So
an Australian Shepherd.
how long have you had him?
He just turned 2 in December, and I've had him since he was 3 months.
Oh, okay. So pretty much you both of you started the whole career together. 2 years in,
Yeah.
Wow, that's cool. And so when you have your day off, aside from doing the laundry and all that, what do you like to do? Who are you when you don't have anything else to do, chores or work?
I really like to go fishing.
Okay.
I go fishing or I play my guitar.
Oh, you play guitar too,
Mhm.
and you sing too, cantas?
Yeah.
Really? So do you write?
No, I don't write. I don't
Okay.
write.
All right. Do you consider yourself a good singer?
I think my dog thinks so.
All right. So do you ever post any of your singing
I
out there?
don't. I don't.
Okay, we got to see this at some point. I'm not going to make you do anything here. I'm not that guy. Fishing, playing guitar. What's your favorite kind of
Hiking.
hiking? Okay. What's your favorite kind of food aside from, of course, home cook?
Ugh. Food.
So not Mexican. Take that one
Um.
out.
Yeah. I don't know. I have to say Italian food maybe.
Okay. And out of Mexican food, what's the one thing when you go back home that you go like, family, mom, dad, whoever, this, I need my fix. What's that?
My dad has always been a really good cook. And
Okay.
so for my birthday, I'd always ask him to cook. And just this last Christmas, actually, I went home and visited, and he makes these like enchiladas marinas,
Uh-huh.
and they're so good. They're so good. So every time I go home, I'm like, Dad, in the
So when you
kitchen.
say, I know what enchiladas are, but marinas, what do you mean? Like seafood?
Yeah, like seafood.
Oh, okay. Huh. I'm digging that. Do you recommend being out there and having a rig and having the lifestyle that you are having right now? Do you actually recommend this to other upcoming welders that want to get into it?
Um,
Huh. She's thinking. Wow.
for guys, I just say, yeah, 100%, go do it.
Okay.
Um,
Okay. That now I'm gonna have to ask. And girls, why not?
girls, um, I just had this conversation with a guy actually yesterday, but
Okay.
it's hard on the guys sometimes,
Yeah,
like you're out in the middle of nowhere by yourself. Um, and you really learn very quickly that not everyone is your friend.
that is true. That is true.
And if it's hard on some guys, I bet you can imagine how it is on some of the women. I think it takes a special kind of a person, especially as a female, you have to be very strong-minded.
Yep.
Um, and it's not easy. It's not easy. You have to set your boundaries and be very clear with them from the beginning.
Yep.
Um, just certain things that I say are very hard, and I mean, I don't regret it. Like
Yeah.
if you can do it and you want to do it, go do it. You're gonna learn a lot from it, and it's not gonna be easy and it's gonna be hard, but go do it. But just be careful. Be very careful.
Now, I'm assuming part of this is being very careful as a woman, being in the middle of nowhere and exposed to who knows what. Have you ever had a situation where you felt that you were really at the wrong place at wrong time with the wrong crowd?
Yeah. There's been several, there's been many times. It doesn't take long for, especially being out on these jobs, you're in small towns. I think the town I'm in is probably a population of 300, 400 people. Doesn't take long for the whole town to find out that there's a young
That's
single female out there.
Yeah, I would have a hard time, thinking that, a loved one, it's one of my family members is it's out there somewhere. And how do
I've
you,
definitely
well,
had a lot of, I've definitely had a lot of scares.
really? And how do you try to prevent that now? Because I mean, you really can't 100%, but what do you do to try to stay away from whatever this is? Which I think we can all read between the lines, but how do you what do you do?
First off, I'm very clear with my boundaries from the beginning, with coworkers and other welders. And I mean, welders, honestly, it's not like we go through an extensive background check in order to get
I
jobs,
Yeah, especially nowadays. Yeah,
and you meet all sorts of people out here, all sorts of people. But obviously, like I take my precautions.
yeah,
I don't go out drinking at the bar and get drunk or,
yeah.
your obvious things.
Of course.
But especially with this whole, I'm very new to this whole social media thing. I haven't been
Oh,
posting like the welding related stuff.
yeah.
And that's another reason why I've kind of been holding back a bit. Like a lot of the videos I post them weeks after, days after.
That makes sense. Actually, that's a smart thing. I'm glad that you're thinking that way because you really also don't want everyone to know exactly where you are on point, live.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get it. I get it. Well, what's the one process that you were the best at? Like, and how many processes have you tried? Have you done everything? Take, make, pulse, like everything and stick, and what do you think you're good at?
I think lately I've been doing a lot of stainless. So I think
Oh,
stainless is definitely my forte right now.
really? So that
Yeah.
definitely TIG, right?
hmm
Gotcha. And you learn all this on the job? Like you didn't go to school after you started kind of, or you actually did go to school?
So I think a lot of what I've learned has been on the job and friends, coworkers, people I've met along the way. Like this job up here in Oregon, I almost didn't come
Really?
because I doubted myself and my abilities. This is
Mm,
my first time ever doing a facility, doing this kind of work. I've done stainless before,
yeah.
but never 100% X-ray, never,
Oh,
like in position welds, and so when they told me about this job, everyone was about to get laid off in Colorado. And I was
what?
like, yeah, yeah. And so for me, it was like either I go back to Texas
Yeah.
and go back to stick welding and, pipeline, or I take this opportunity in Oregon. And so I was very scared to come up here. It was like a 17-hour drive. And I was like, what if I go and
Oof.
I don't pass X-ray? So I was very scared, but I came
Wow.
and I'm glad I did. I'm very glad I did. Um, Up here, I'm the youngest one. I'm the
That, that's
youngest
that
welder.
that's not hard for that to happen everywhere you go.
Yeah, I'm the youngest welder. And so I was very nervous the first day. And the welder I weld with, the stainless stuff, he's been welding for like, I think 10, 12 years is what he said. And the other day I heard him talking to one of the other welders, and they were like, "Oh, how is she doing?" Y yo me hago la loca, la que no
Claro,
escucha.
claro, right? Yeah.
I'm like, and he was like, "No, she's good. Like she puts in a good beat." And that to me was like, because
Wow.
every day I wake up and I've been welding for 2 years, but still, I still have so much to learn. There's so
Of
much I
course.
don't know. And so every day I still I'm a little nervous, like, oh, I need to be really good and I need to be careful and I need to do my best. And
Wow.
for the weld boss and for the other welders to say that, I'm holding my own, it's
That's
nice.
awesome. No, it's always great to see, especially peers, to really see exactly and think that, hey, she belongs. She's doing great. So that is awesome to hear. I don't care who you are. It's always nice to hear your peers, think that way about you. So that's good for
Mm-hmm.
you. Now, usually I don't ask this, but the reason I'm going to ask this is because you mentioned, hey, I'm the youngest here and all that. But and being a female, being by yourself, being out there and doing all these things. How old are you now?
I'm 23.
23. So you at 21, 20 or so, I'm going to become a welder, and here you are now doing this whole thing on your own. That is just speaks volume on the kind of person that you are for many reasons. So a lot of the younger generations, get tagged with all this BS that they don't, they don't belong, they don't have the work ethic, they all these other bullshit that most people want to just use as an excuse, especially los viejitos, le encanta hablar de los jóvenes, de que no sirven para nada, right? So to see someone, being 23 and doing all these things and really going through the struggles of, because I know for a fact, and that's why I asked earlier, that it's not easy being by yourself in the middle of these little towns and being a woman. It would be hard for anyone. So kudos to you for what you do and really for sticking it out there and, just keep kicking ass. Because I think, I mean, 2 years in and look at you, the sky's the limit for you, Talia.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah, de verdad que es un placer conocer gente como tú que en esta industria van a significar tanto. You guys are going to really just become and the social media aspect. I would say keep doing it the same way you're doing it. Make sure you give your gap in. I'm not here now. I'm somewhere else. But still grow your content because it is a digital social media business card. It is what it is, and more and more, I think you have the right tools to be able to grow through there as well, and at some point monetize that as well. But do your welds, do try to copy what others are doing out there, because even if you try to copy, it's never going to be a carbon copy. It's going to have your own flair, your own thing, and people are just connect with who you are, and those are the people that you want to connect with you, the ones that like you, the ones that are just going to be memes and talk all the crap. It is what it is. It comes with the territory when you start using social media. But de verdad, sigue, dale para adelante, y qué placer ver a alguien como tú just kicking ass out there.
Gracias, gracias, gracias. Te lo agradezco.
Bueno,